This is Talia. If you got 99 cooking on old school RuneScape at any time after January 7, 2016, it's likely you've seen her. She's located in the Hosidius kitchen on the continent of Zaya, and spends every day walking back and forth between a barrel of fish and a ranged cooker, cooking these fish non-stop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for her demanding boss Ramotion. Naturally, this has many players begging the question, just how much experience has she gained in her career as a Hosidius chef? If you search around, you'll find many people making this calculation and figuring out what her experience is, approximately at a given time. However, not all of these answers ever sat quite right with me. There are variables in old school RuneScape that will actually change this experience, and I want to address those and work out a more accurate answer in this video. Before we go any further, I will be using programming and mathematics in this video. I don't pretend to be a top tier programmer, I'm simply a second year computer science student at the time of making this video. And I especially do not pretend to be a mathematician. However, the calculations I'm using in this video are simple enough for even myself to program. You will be seeing snippets of my code throughout this video. I may even publish the code to GitHub for you to take a look at and maybe even adjust to make better. There are people out there far better at this than I am. As another footnote, all data I present in this video will be cited in the links in the description. If something is wrong, blame them, not me. I am innocent, but do tell me so I can make adjustments. So now, let's take a look at some of the things we need to consider when looking at Talia's cooking experience. The first thing we need to know, and most importantly, is what Talia is actually cooking. While the models of the fish in the barrel she is pulling fish from don't directly match any fish in the game, its colour is most similar to that of either herring, trout, or tuna. Of these three, its shape is most similar to that of herring. So, for the remainder of this video, we'll be working with the assumption that she is cooking herring. Now we need to gauge a starting point. What was Talia's experience at the first moment of her being added to the live game? So if we're working from an origin point of 0 seconds from the first time Talia starts her cycle, what experience does she have? Since Talia's cooking herring, it's safe to assume that she is at least level 5. This is the level required to cook herring. She wouldn't even be able to play the animation if she wasn't level 5. So this means, at a minimum, her starting experience is sat at 388. Now, we need to figure out her cycle. This is where things get really in-depth. In a roughly 12-second cycle, Talia will get some fish from a barrel, cook 2 of those fish on a range, and then walk back to the barrel. We first need to figure out where this cycle starts, so at a very specific given amount of seconds from the origin, we can make an educated guess as to whether she has cooked the fish, is walking back to the barrel, or overall where she is in this cycle. So, we could just say that every 12 seconds she gets 100 EXP and calculate on that, but where's the fun in that? What if in this one cycle she hasn't quite gotten to a range yet? She hasn't gotten that experience. Now, yes, it's only 100 experience different, but it's a difference, and since I'm going into detail, why not? So, it's very hard to tell exactly where her cycle starts, without being present on the very first tick of the game immediately after she was launched into the game. However, using the RuneLite animation smoothing plugin, we can see some things the developers didn't intend, specifically at this point. This will look familiar to a lot of players who use the smoothing plugin. Many enemies, many other in-game animations, have various frames that look out of place when using the smoothing. This is most likely because the developers didn't intend for this frame of the animation to be seen, since they play at a lower FPS. So when Talia is stood in front of the barrel, she plays this small animation glitch. Very common, we've all seen these glitches when using the animation smoothing plugin before. It's safe to assume that this glitch is happening because it's the restart of an animation. It seems like she might even be T-posing for a split second, similar to when you're picking berries from a bush. As such, it's safe to assume that this small visual glitch is the very start of the cycle. It's the best thing we have to go on. So this means Talia's full cycle is, at the start of her cycle, she takes 5 seconds to reach the range cooker. She cooks fish for around 2 seconds, 1 fish per second, and then she takes her walk back to the barrel, taking another 5 seconds. Our code will reflect this accurately. As you can see, we wait the 5 seconds for her to get to the range, allow the 2 seconds to take place for her to cook the fish, and then wait another 5 seconds for her to get to the range, all while checking if her experience has ticked up. But Aya, I hear you asking me, what is the point in accurately simulating her cycle? Can't we just do some maths based on the 12-second cycle? And won't it also take a very long time to accurately simulate all of her cycles up to the modern day? Well, yeah, you would be right if we were doing that. However, we only need to simulate the first 300-ish cycles. Let's take a look at why. First of all, Talia isn't wearing cooking gauntlets, and presumably doesn't have any Zaya diaries complete. However, she does benefit from the 5% reduced chance of burn rate from cooking under Ramotian supervision. This means that once Talia is above level 38 in cooking, she won't burn anymore. This means if we only simulate enough cycles, counting her experience as we go to reach level 38, we can use some quick maths for the remainder of the time, since it will be a consistent rate of experience from that point. In going from level 5 to level 38 in the Husidius kitchen, cooking only herring, we will on average burn between about 90 and 120 herrings depending on your luck. I ran 10,000 simulations of these first 33 levels. The lowest burn count I got was 63, and the highest was 161. However, the average burn rate across the entire 10,000 simulations was 103 herrings burned. As a footnote, to generate randomness, I am using the random module in Python to create a random integer. Obviously, this won't generate random numbers in exactly the same way that RuneScape's engine will, that was written in Java. As a result, this could cause a small discrepancy. However, it's RNG, it's random number generator, it's accurate enough for the purpose of this video. So now that we're above level 38, and we've been tracking the amount of time it got there the whole time, from that time to the current date, we can use quick maths to work the rest out. Having done so, we now have a slightly more accurate representation of her total cooking experience. Okay, so now you're asking, so what? At most this will create a difference of 1500 EXP over ignoring burn rates. Why does that matter? And, well, yeah. You're right, so shut up. It's enough of a difference to warrant an entire video apparently. However, there's actually more. Something else very frequently not considered in these calculations are the downtimes for system updates, rollbacks, and the like. First of all, since the Zaya update on January the 7th, 2016, there have been an additional 278 game updates made to old school RuneScape. Each time these updates take anywhere from a couple of minutes to a couple of hours. I'll be working on an assumption of about an average of 20 minutes downtime per update, since I don't really have easy access to the data I need to be able to tell the exact figure. I think 20 minutes is a healthy guess. Using this estimate, this means that since Talia was added to the game, updates have resulted in an average downtime of 90 hours. As well as this, there have been 3 game rollbacks made to old school RuneScape to fix major game bugs. Since we're treating Talia like a player, we're also going to bring her experience back in these rollbacks. This means that there was also around 15 hours of progress lost to these rollbacks. And there we have it. Taking into consideration the herring burns until level 38, her movement cycle, her EXP lost through server downtime and updates, we can come to a number slightly closer to her total cooking experience earned. And here comes the last and my favourite part. You will have noticed the title of this YouTube video by now. Every few minutes or so, depending on if my server is alive, that title will update with Talia's current amount of EXP. So I could just tell you, right now, at the time of me recording this video, what Talia's current cooking experience is, or you could look at that title, realise I already answered the question, and I just wasted 10 minutes of your time simply talking about how I got there. You're welcome. I've had a lot of fun making this video. I'm a relatively new RuneScape content creator, and this is my first time trying to make a video like this. If there are more things in the game you'd be interested in on this scale that you would like me to talk about in a video, leave it in the comments and I'll do what I can. Thank you very much.